Alright, hello everybody. So today I'm going to be going over what seems like kind of a counterintuitive build. It is a melee Gyre. So with this, a lot of people see her almost strictly as like a caster frame or even like a weapons platform for like range. But with melee, it doesn't seem like that's something she would be good at. But this is by far one of my favorite level capping builds whenever I'm doing like a like level cap void cascades and whatnot. So this really just works with the augment for her 1 and the Syam and melee influence. So it's a ranged melee that shoots out a disc, or a wave, I guess, for lack of a better term. And then as it passes through her 1, it procs influence. So it's really, really strong whenever it comes to clearing out crowds. And the super fun and nice thing that really drew me to this was it goes through walls, which I didn't know at first. Like, I think whenever I tried doing this at first, it was like, I used something weird like the Quasis or something, because I was like, oh, it's projectile melee. Like, that's totally going to work for this, and it just failed miserably. And then I think, I don't remember if a friend recommended the Syam as like a good ranged melee, or if I just happened to be in another game and saw somebody use it and I was like, oh, what the fuck is that? But, as you can see, this thing is outrageous. You just kind of point in a general direction and then heavy melee and just stuff dies. So, yeah, super fun, goes through walls, really, really effective at level cap. But let's get into the build. So for the shards, I went with 5 of the Violet Talforge for melee crit damage. You can get away with probably 3 of them, but my caveman brain just sees the big numbers and is like, oh, that makes me happy. So totally overkill, definitely not necessary to have 5 of these, but if you want to be able to kill everything, it's fun and it works, but it's kind of a bitch to farm those out, so. Okay, so in the build, shield gating build, so pretty much always running catalyzing shields on a lot of my builds just because that's the way that I prefer to play. That works for me. It's ingrained after years of playing this game. You're definitely going to want cathode current though, just to keep up your 3 and your 4 as you're killing stuff, so you've got the constant energy regen because this is a very high energy drain sort of build, since it's running transient and blind rage. So 45% efficiency can be difficult to maintain, but it's not crazy. I run it with Grimoire, so I'm going to go into the build for that, just for energy sustain and whatnot. But the main part that's super important is Conductive Spear. So with this augment, anything that passes through your 1 gets electricity damage and the status effect. So with this, you can run the Syam without having to mod for electricity, which gives you a little bit more versatility for the actual modding of the weapon itself. Gives you an extra slot that's freed up. And then for the arcanes, I recommend Fury. It does a noticeable damage increase because there's not really a whole lot of damage coming out from the Syam itself from a mod standpoint. Augmented is just my own personal preference. You can swap that out with Sculptor because Sculptor procs off of the Arc Spheres. So Gyre's 1 will proc that, so if you're spamming to get 3 of them, 3 of the spears, not spears. 3 of them can stack up and you get, that additional damage with each one that it's passing through. So if you're having sustain issues or if you just want it to be a little bit more streamlined, Sculptor is a great way to go. I just like the big numbers, the additional strength, the additional roar strength. That's just my own preference. Obviously any of these builds that I'm putting out, you can tweak to whatever works for your playstyle. So Grimoire, you can really just mod it however you want. Like, I'm using it kind of as like a pseudo primer, which is why I'm running secondary encumber, just for those additional status effects. If you're not running with Sculptor though, I definitely recommend Zada Invocation, just because it's going to give you that additional energy regen. not necessary, again, playstyle variances and whatnot. But, and then the Syam. I named it Dark Drift because I'm a nerd and I love Dark Souls 2, and that was one of my preferred katanas in that game. So, but with that, I just mod it specifically for Toxin because the heavy attacks have innate heat, so that gives it gas by extension. So just, pretty standard heavy attack build. Nothing crazy. If you have a Riven, I recommend going for the initial combo just so that you can capitalize on Blood Rush and Weeping Wounds. You really don't need it though. You can just use Corrupted Charge. Where is that? And that'll give you pretty much the exact same thing. Like, this is what I use whenever I discovered this build after doing a bunch of testing, and I didn't have a Riven for it, and I was still able to like just nuke level cap stuff with minimal issues. But if you have a Riven, you can run it with whatever you want. I like initial combo and crit damage. It doesn't necessarily need the crit damage. Again, just I like big numbers. It makes my brain happy. But the last part of this, I highly recommend running Wyrm just for status nullification. So Wyrm has this, I believe it's from Samaris, I think, for I want to say like 75,000 standing, I'm not positive. But it just helps prevent status, because that's the main thing with like a heavy draw, low efficiency shield gating build. Status effects, especially higher level, it's going to be difficult to deal with, especially if you're shield gating and that's your main way of staying alive. So I recommend this. Obviously, again, there's other ways around it, but this is what works for me. I don't have to think about it, and I just kind of go in and attack stuff, and it kind of takes care of me. But yeah, that's pretty much it for the build. I'm going to be trying to upload some videos on Mondays and Fridays. I missed this past week just because I was dealing with like some health stuff. But if you guys have any specific frames or weapons that you'd like to see videos on, I have builds for most things in this game. So this whole series is just going to be me sharing weird random shit that I've built over almost 10 years. So if there's anything specific you want to see, leave a comment and I'll see what I've got going and see what I can make with it. But that's it for today. So you guys have a good rest of your day. Thank you for watching.